The Morrison family, young and full of hope, arrived at their new home, a Victorian mansion full of promise and shadowed gables. It stood on a hill overlooking the town, a silent sentinel touched by time and shrouded in whispers of the past. Excitement filled the air as they unpacked boxes, each member dreaming of new beginnings within these old walls. But even as laughter echoed in the empty halls, a sense of unease settled upon them. A coldness that clung to the air, unexplained drafts that sent shivers down their spines. The house, it seemed, had a presence, a silent observer, watching their every move. Days turned into weeks, the family settling into their new life. Yet the unsettling feeling persisted. Shadows seemed to dance in the corners of their eyes. Footsteps echoed on the stairs long after everyone was asleep. John, the father, dismissed it as an old house settling. Mary, his wife, couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. Their children, 10-year-old twins Billy and Sarah, began to whisper of strange noises at night. The house, once a symbol of new beginnings, now held a palpable tension. Its silence was broken only by the creaking of floorboards and the rustling of unseen things. One afternoon, Sarah came running to her mother, her eyes wide with fear. "Mummy, I hear someone talking behind the wall," she whispered, pointing to a door at the end of the hallway. The door, old and made of dark wood, was always locked. John had tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. He assumed it was just an old storage room forgotten by time. Now Mary listened intently. A faint whisper, barely audible, seemed to emanate from behind the door, like a child's voice, soft and filled with sadness. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced Mary's heart. This was not the sound of the house settling. This was something else, something unsettling and unknown. Intrigued and a little frightened, Billy and Sarah became fixated on the whispering door. They would sit outside it for hours, listening, hoping to catch another sound. "Do you think someone is trapped in there?" Sarah asked one day, her eyes wide with worry. Billy, always the brave one, shook his head. "Maybe it's just the wind," he said, though his voice lacked conviction. Their curiosity soon turned into a game. They would take turns, pressing their ears against the cold wood, giggling nervously at every creak and groan. One day they heard it again, the whisper, clearer this time, calling their names. The children's whispers about the voice behind the door finally reached their parents. John, trying to soothe their fears, decided to investigate the locked room once again. He examined the door, searching for a hidden latch or a keyhole, but found nothing. Frustrated, he leaned against the wall, and suddenly a section of the wall swung inward. Behind the door, hidden in plain sight, was a narrow staircase leading up into darkness. The air grew colder as a musty old smell drifted down from the hidden room above. John, his heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and morbid curiosity, knew he had to see what lay at the top of those stairs. With a deep breath, John stepped into the hidden staircase, his hand trailing along the rough-hewn wall. Each step creaked under his weight, the sound echoing in the silence of the house. The air grew colder, heavy with the scent of dust and decay. Finally, he reached the top of the stairs and pushed open another door, revealing a large, dusty attic. Moonlight filtered through a grimy window, casting long shadows across the room. Old furniture loomed in the dim light, draped in white sheets that resembled ghostly figures. And in the center of the room, John saw her. A young girl, her back to him, humming softly to herself. The girl turned, her face pale and translucent in the moonlight. Her eyes, large and filled with a profound sadness, met John's. He felt a chill run down his spine, for he knew instantly that this was no ordinary child. This was the source of the whispers, the ghost that haunted his house. "Hello?" the girl said, her voice a mere whisper. "My name is Emma." Over the next few days, the family learned Emma's story. She was a young girl who had lived in the house a century ago, tragically losing her life in a fall down the same hidden staircase. Her spirit, unable to find peace, remained trapped within the walls, her mournful whispers echoing through the decades. The Morrisons, touched by Emma's tragic story, decided to help her find peace. They held a small ceremony in the attic, surrounding Emma's ghostly form with warmth and kindness. As they shared stories and laughter, the atmosphere in the attic shifted. The oppressive gloom lifted, replaced by a sense of peace and tranquility. Emma's form, once shimmering with a cold light, began to glow with a warm radiance. "Thank you," Emma whispered, her voice filled with gratitude. "I can finally rest now." And with that she faded away, a gentle breeze extinguishing a candle. The whispers ceased, the house fell silent, and the Morrison family knew that Emma was finally free. They continued to live in the old Victorian house, but the fear was gone, replaced by a sense of peace and the lingering memory of a little girl named Emma.